Well, hello, Internet, and welcome here to the library in Venusian Towers, where it's time, once again, to see what's on the rack. And this is a special rack, because this is the last rack of 2021. There will be no diamond delivery next week, so nothing new between Christmas and New Year. So this is it. These are the last new comics we're getting in this weirdest, strangest, and frankly, happy to see the back of it years. So, what have we got? Well, Adventure Man hits issue 7. This has been a fun book. I've really enjoyed this. Army of Darkness 1979, speaking of fun books, hits issue 4. It's like 5 minutes since the first one came out. It continues to be exactly as delightful and bonkers as you would have expected. The Avengers hits issue 51, and because you can't have too many Avengers, Avengers Forever issue 1 hits the stands this week. It looks interesting. I'll be honest, I have not had a chance to read any of this week's new stuff yet, but this is looking kind of fun. Speaking of looking kind of fun, Avengers Tech on Avengers hits issue... What issue is it now? Issue 5. This one seems to have been going on forever, but it is only on issue 5. And it's again, been fun. This sort of tech take on the Avengers has been... It's been a fun ride, if I'm honest. Batman Catwoman hits issue 9. And honestly, it continues to be utterly brilliant. The art, the story, the pacing. You know how I feel about the Bat. And honestly, this is as close to perfect a Batman story as I've read. So there you go. Speaking of Batman, Batman taking on Bigby from Fables. This also has been immensely fun. Batman isn't Superman. Batman's fine with magic. Magic isn't his weakness, but Batman is a much more literal kind of dude. And the whole Fables thing, I think, is probably a bit outside of his comfort zone. I've enjoyed that in this series. I've also very much enjoyed the clash of personalities between Bigby and the Bat. It's been great. Speaking of dominant personalities, Black Panther issue 2, that's on the rack this week, as is Blade Runner 2029. What issue are we on now? 10. Issue 10 of Blade Runner 2029. The Blue Flame hits issue 6, and Chicken Devil hits issue 3. Now, more of you should be reading this. This is a truly awesome piece of work. I think last month I compared it rather favourably to The Killing Joke, which is not a comic I enjoy. Now, if the premise of The Killing Joke is that the only thing that separates a regular person from the Joker is one bad day, this is the evidence. This is the story of one guy who had one very, very bad day. And it changed his life and the lives of quite a lot of people. It's brilliantly written. It's got style, it's got grace. It's a beautifully written book. It's also got pace and action. And honestly, it could have been directed by Quentin Tarantino, but it's better than that. Moving on. Cloaked, issue 1 of 4. That lands this week. I haven't read this. I'm intrigued by the characters. I've only flicked through it. It looks very dark. It looks very cool. Dark Horse is getting better at this stuff. Marvel's Darkhold thing continues. Darkhold Spider-Man drops this week. Deep Beyond hits issue 11. Dungeons and Dragons Mindbreaker It's issue 3. Eat the Rich. Possibly the least subtle satire we've ever seen. Finishes this week with issue 5. It has been glorious. The art is wonderful. The story is, look, it's a bit on the nose, okay? But it's good satire. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the people. So, yeah, actually, 100% recommend it. If you missed it in singles, the trade will be out shortly, and you should probably check that out. Speaking of other things you should probably check out, the Firefly Holiday Special. Jane is the perfect allegory for Scrooge. And this is a wonderful take on the Christmas Carol trope, as Jane has a bit of a blow to the head and meets the ghosts of Christmas past, present and future. Although, obviously, this is Firefly, so we don't call it Christmas. I'm going to have to look it up. And any speakers of, I'm presuming Cantonese, possibly Mandarin, I don't even know that much. If you speak those languages, I apologise for my pronunciation in advance, although, from what I understand, can't actually be worse than the pronunciation on the show. Because we're in the verse, it's Shengjian Jie, also known as Christmas. Brilliant. I actually have read this. It was the first thing I read when it came out in the box. An absolute joy. If you're a Firefly flan, I always do that. If you are a fan of Firefly, that's a better way to say it, check this out. It's all the seasonal Firefly goodness you could possibly want. Speaking of things that are amazing, Getting Dizzy hits issue 2. I loved issue 1 of this. Issue 2 looks equally brilliant. This is the kind of thing that Boombox does so brilliantly well. It's just pure joy and energy. What more could you possibly want on a dark, rainy afternoon? Well, perhaps you want what James Bond would be like if Bond was the Bond girl. In which case, Gun Honey. Now, I've had a customer express some discomfort at purchasing copies of Gun Honey because it made them feel like a dirty old man. And yeah, I get it. I'm an old man myself. And the covers don't do these books any favours. They're going for a 1950s pulpy exploitation cover vibe. And I get that. But honestly, that cover gives you an impression of the story and what's going on inside, which is wholly inaccurate. Yeah, there is nudity and stuff in these comics, but that's not what they're about. This is a hard-boiled, hardcore pulp thriller with I hate using the term strong female protagonist now, but very positive female role models in this book. And I've reached the point where, as a retailer, I'm finding covers like this a little bit disappointing because they put people off these days. And I wish people wouldn't do that. Stop making people not want to buy things. Something you will want to buy. If you're watching this on Wednesday when it drops, today is the day the last episode of Hawkeye drops on Disney+. As I record this, I haven't seen it because as I record this, it's Tuesday. Hawkeye Kate Bishop, 2nd issue. Kate Bishop is the best Avenger. Hawkeye is the second best Avenger, Clint Barton. But Kate Bishop is a better Hawkeye than Clint. This is her book. Issue 1 was amazing. I haven't read issue 2 yet, but come on. Look at it. Look at it. Showing you that page already. Let me show you a different page. Look at it. Look. Look. How amazing is that? My love for Kate Bishop is unrestrained. I'm going to encourage you all to pick it up. And honestly, you should probably take a look at Heathens too. This is an interesting concept. We've got a bunch of people who actually existed. They're in hell. They have skills. They're redeemable. They've been judged to be redeemable. So they will be allowed out of hell to go and bring back some irredeemable souls that have escaped. And if they do their job properly, they will be released from hell. It's great. It's brilliant horror from Aftershock, from Cullen Bunn, Heath Amadio, and Sammy. I think it's Cavella, but it's got one of those weird umlauty things over the A, so I may be mispronouncing that. Apologies if I am. Hellboy, the Silver Lantern Club, here's issue 3. Some great stuff from the Hellboy universe going on here. Absolutely loved it. Written by Mike Mignola. It's not Mignola art, which is a shame, but there you go, you can't have everything. House of Slaughter, here's issue 3, as the spin-off from Something Is Killing the Children continues. It's the same creative team, and it's the same incredible quality of storytelling and art. Properly fabulous book. Human Remains hits issue 4. Can't praise that highly enough either. We've got Iron Man. We've got Joy Operations 2. There's a new Conan series, King Conan, starting this week. All the barbarian action you could possibly want. King Shark's adventures continue, issue 4 of 6. That's dropping this week. The brilliance, the absolutely sheer brilliance from Boom that is More continues this week. I don't even know where to start with this. It's such an astonishing piece of work. Can't praise it highly enough. And speaking of things I can't praise highly enough, May's book hits issue 4. This has been astonishing. I mean, it's Jeff Lemire, of course it's astonishing, but even by his standards, this has been a wild ride. I'm absolutely loving it. Can't recommend it highly enough. You should check that out. Moon Knight is issue 6. We've got a new Ms. Marvel series starting, penned by Samira Ahmed, with Andreas Genelay and Triana Farrell. I probably mispronounced several of those. Not ready yet. You can look for it to be a pick of the week because I love Ms. Marvel. Kamala Khan is just a delight. And this, just flicking through it, looks like they're doing Kamala justice here. So yeah, very much enjoying that. We've got the second part of My Date with Monsters. My Little Pony Generation continues. We've got the second part of Newburn. More pulpy, brilliant stuff. And then, oh my word, Nightwing 87. I want this on a scroll, because what they've done, right, this is truly impressive. It's hard to show you what they've done, but basically, this comic was written as one continuous image. They had to break it down into page sizes. But you could, if you got 2 copies of this, and you cut out all the pages and you put them out next to each other, it's one single continuous image. And that's something that Redondo has done so brilliantly. He's now taking it to a completely new level. I cannot tell you how good this current run of Nightwing is. It's just... comics simply don't get better than that. It's something you can do in the comics form, and it's so exciting that there are artists out there and writers who can put all that together. I'm getting a bit over enthusiastic, but seriously, loving this run of Nightwing and loving that idea. No One Left to Fight, Part 2, or Season 2, whatever you want to call it. That hits its 3rd issue, as does Nubia and the Amazons, if you have an interest in Themyscira. Phoenix Song Echo. Echo, of course, a major part of the Hawkeye TV show. This is the comics version of Echo, which is slightly different, I think. But Echo is not just deaf, but also Native American. And it's nice to see that kind of representation getting through into mainstream comics. Maria Lover's Porcelain hits issue 5. This is a beautiful, if kind of weird, book. Radiant Black, which is one of my favourite superhero stories of the moment. It's issue 11, can you believe? The Refrigerator Full of Heads continues as the Hill House imprint comes back a little bit. If you like the first one, the Basket Full of Heads, you'll love the Refrigerator Full of Heads. It's beautiful Stephen King-esque horror. I hope Joe Hill wouldn't mind me calling it that, because he's also perfect Joe Hill horror. But more people know who Stephen King is, so there you go. Regarding the Matter of Oswald's Body, hits issue 2. Great conspiracy theory nonsense. It's very, very good. A Righteous Taste for Vengeance. Thirst, actually. It's issue 3. This has been a remarkably understated series. I'm very impressed with this, actually. Robbins hits issue 2. The Search for Who hits issue 4. We've got some Sonic the Hedgehog goodness. We've got Amazing Spider-Man. We've got Darth Vader. We've got Star Wars High Republic. We've got the final part of Stranger Things, The Tomb of Ybwin. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow hits issue 8. Sweet Paprika continues and hits 6. Sword continues and hits issue 11. That Texas Blood gets a Christmas special, and this has been such a good series. I'm very much loving this, and just check out that art. The bravery of that colour palette is, again, it's just exciting. Don't want to show you those, so we'll skip past that. The Trial of Magneto continues. Venom hits issue 3. And I'm just going to mention the Wastelanders podcast series. They've done Wastelanders Old Man Quill, and they've done Wastelanders Old Man Hawkeye as podcasts. I don't know whether the Wastelanders Hawkeye comic fits into that continuity and is a retelling of that story or not. Just flicking through it, I don't think it is. I haven't read the comic. I have listened to the podcast. I recommend you check out those podcasts. They are very, very good. Just search Wastelanders Hawkeye in your podcast app of choice and check it out. Very, very good stuff. And it's free. Then we've got Wolverine. And we've got Wonder Woman Evolution. And that is the surprisingly large last rack of 2021. All that remains for me to do is to say, obviously, there will be no What's on the Rack between Christmas and New Year, because there'll be nothing new on the rack between Christmas and New Year. Destination Venus will be open between Christmas and New Year on the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. Genuinely haven't decided whether they're opening New Year's Day or not yet. I suspect that might be contingent on the level of my hangover. For now, what I will say is thank you, everybody who shopped with Destination Venus this year. It has been a very weird and a very challenging year. We got through it. I hope you got through it at least as well as we did. 2022 may not be that much different, actually, looking at the way things are going. But I won't speak to you again before Christmas. So have a very, very Merry Christmas. And I hope that 2022 is peaceful, prosperous, and brilliant for you. We will be back in January with the first rack of 2022. Until we see you then, be kind to yourself. Be kind to everybody else. Stay safe, stay geeky, and have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You take care, folks.